And I think we are good. Look at me, buddy. We are going to be best friends. Okay. Checking, one, two, three. Hopefully, everybody can hear me. I'm going to talk a little bit loud. Well, sorry for the delay. Technical problems happens. You guys taking class before, right? So that's great. Um, just introduce myself. My name is David Sanchez. This is my American name. My Latino name is David Sanchez Rivera. Last name right there. You can see my portfolio. You guys can check this out in ArtStation. Right now, I've been doing a lot of realistic just because the companies that I am shooting for is, for a simple 343 company, Insomnia Games, and Santa Monica Studio. Right, that is the people and artists and seniors that I normally compare my portfolio to. I have really poor art when I was in college. There you will never see here in my art station. But I normally show it in class for people to see that I used to suck when I was in college a lot. Okay. Through my process of becoming a 3D character artist, I was first a concept artist. I used to paint, draw, do all that cool stuff until I watched a movie and learned matte painting, and I said, "This is lies," and I ruined all the movies that I enjoy. Just ruined them completely. But in college, I learned ZBrush, and I said, "Wait a minute! All the characters that I did, I can do it in 3D, and then rig it and put it in the game. Let's do it!" So through this journey, I started creating characters, and as well did my master degrees in programming. Now, my programming was to learn the extension of where my job ends. So basically, I built the character, did the topology, did the UVs, did the materials and textures, and then put it in the engine, Unreal, the best engine in the world. All right, thank you very much. So I work with both engine as a developer. I will talk more about that as well. But I wanted to learn where my job ends, and I normally started programming in Unreal to program master materials, materials that are affected by other elements of the level, like water, increase the specularity of a texture, right? Or you jump into mod, then your diffuse color completely change to that color of that mod or material that you have in that world, right? So this is really important for me, and for that process is like, okay, so I can, when I finish my characters, I can move forward in the engine. So this actually helped me a lot to when I become a developer for a company called 8-Beat Bosses Studio. I am there a 3D art director. I am responsible for all the noobs to help them out and guide them in the process of becoming a 3D artist. As well, I dig a lot into VFX animation by itself, project managing, concept art, you name it. As an indie developer, you need to have the hats of every department, basically a jack of all trades. But it's a really good experience. You learn a lot. And then you can say, I'm just a specialist. And when you are an indie, right? You can become a specialist in something that you really love. Like, for example, I enjoy characters, right? Now, the characters you see right here, for example, John Krasinski, I worked with him for almost 6 months or 8 months. I started calling him John Cuchi Cuchi because I was tired of working with him so much. But then now my biggest project, and I don't know why I do this to myself, but this is maybe the life of an artist. I don't know who here plays Dungeons and Dragons. Yes, those who not know it, you are missing everything. I play Dungeons and Dragons. I am a DM myself, and I watch basically a YouTube video or a company called Critical Role. They have voice actors there, and I'm doing Marisha Ray. And I'm not doing only one character. I'm doing 4 characters of Marisha Ray. Basically, campaign 1, 2, and 3, and Marisha herself. Now, with this experience that I did, John Krasinski, and this is the process that I wanted to talk to you all today, when we jump into a ZBrush. So let's go first to where I have Mr. Krasinski here. So really important that I wanted to show you all is the development of this character. So for example, through this journey, this is my first time building this character, right? And there's a development process that you need to have or do to be able to, build a good character. So let me see if I can. No, I do not. Stop it. I don't want to. Stop it. Good. So there's a process to build with this, and I want to show you how this started. This, I think this one was, yes, there you go. So the character process of having resources, one of the biggest steps first is research, right? Any project that you do and anything passionate that you do, there's already someone that already did it, right? But there's always this twist that you want to bring into the table. But for us artists, we see the reality that we have, and we need to utilize that reality to create something that looks real and feels real as well. Because most of our clients say, I want my face in the game, please make that happen. Right now, multiple companies that have resources, they have this really nice like cameras all around. They just throw millions of photos and basically a 3D scan, right? And that is basically 75 to 80% of the job done, right? And then basically the 3D artist like me comes in, cleans up the imperfections, work with the textures and all that kind of stuff, right? But I did not have that luxury, right? I needed to go to the process of creating a really bad face at first, right? And this is the progress of you growing not only as an artist, but as an individual as well. When you are learning new stuff and applying your stuff differently, it's always important to have that open mind when you're building something that you never did, right? This is the first time. If you have in your mind that you're going to suck at it, great. That's perfect. But you need to have the open mind. There's going to be growth to it as well. And that growth comes to this type of progress. From that individual photo that I show you, it took me a few months to get where I wanted, because I know that my observation skills basically was in the gutter, like completely bad, right? But here I started learning from new process hair. The hair, a lot of people look at it, this is amazing. Wow, how you do that? Suffering, pain. I cried so many times. But for this particular hair that I did it 18 times, right? I failed 18 times. And 18 times, then the 18 is like, oh, now you got it. So there's always a progress, and there's always going to be a moment that if your brain is telling you that sucks, it sucks. You need to redo it, right? There's not like, no, but if you look at it in this angle, or you like swap it around, or like you maybe will, see it, all right? But the clients normally do not care if they turn around. They want to see it all the time, right? And this is the kind of thing you need to be really aware when you're building a character, right? So let me see if I can find where is my pure ref images, because there is the most important thing to have is that particular research information. Nope, that's not it. It's unbelievable that I don't. Dude, I did this. Where's my pure ref? But if I don't find it, that's okay. Aha. I have it here. Nice. So this is what's the research that I was mentioning. When you're looking for this type of, Oh, no, poopy. No? Okay. It seems my keyboard just okay, cool, no worries. So, this is all my references. A bunch of images of John Krasinski. Not obviously, it's really important to anatomy, right? Yeah. Right. A lot of people say, "Oh, well, you have that." Well, that's part of it. That's part of you building a character. You need to, have everything, right? And my main character was for the movie Silent Quiet Place. Thank you very much. So from the Quiet Place, so I needed to get a lot of information like clothing, what type of jeans, right? Like how the hair like looks in that moment. Like all these little details are part of that, like the hair, the curves, so you can see all the S's that you have. All that little details is really important. Like for example, I did this backpack. I couldn't do the other one because I didn't find any other information to apply this, and he always was carrying that backpack, right? So I tried my best to look online. We have this other backpack that I didn't find. So I said, you know what? Forget about it. I found this one. This is what I'm going to work on. So this is particular. You have to do some sacrifices, right? It's well for clothing, right? I have another artist that I follow a lot, and I say, okay, this is how I do jeans. Okay, let me just follow this blueprint the best I can, and to see if it works, and I will modify accordingly, right? Another thing, like for example, this is my quality controls. This is my peers, people that I work with in a mentorship. This is their quality of work. So I wanted to reach that quality. So having where you want to reach is really important. Having an objective, a goal to where this I am gonna be there, and no matter if it takes me 18 tries or 16 tries of anything. So that was my process. Is what my mentality was to build up to what I wanted. So little by little, I started working with the clothing, working with overall, with the mentorship. Okay, eyes are separate. You can see some things missing, and overall. Now, when you go into, let me go to my file right here. Put this over here, and it goes to. Let me see which one. I think it was this one, if I recall. Put this over here. This one is a little big. I have a lot of basically my files start weighing gigabytes of information. Well, right. There you go. So we change all the process here. My keyboard died. Great. If you guys have the spare, I will appreciate it. Why are you doing this to me today, bro? Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Cheers. Let's do this. Ah, nice. Do I need to press anything on our? Yes, it's working. It's working. Got it. Okay, so yep, out of the way. Put this over here. Oh, nice. Okay, so having you can see how laggy it is. And I can Control M, minimize that. Perfect. So let me press F here, and this was my end result of having the images, all the processes that I needed to do. Like for example, if I go to the face, right, and let me go solo mode, and put the highest division for the face, you can see really most of the stuff that is really important is to capture that pores, to capture that details of having a realistic face, because that is going to give you the extra oomph basically that you need when you go into a close-up of a camera and you can see the sweat going into out of the pores and all that kind of stuff, right? And this is the kind of details that is required. So now, for example, And it's really important to have duplicates of organization in your folder per se. But I'm going to duplicate the face here, right? And what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to turn off everything and go to my geometry, go to my lower subdivision. And yes, I cannot delete it because I have layers. Woo-hoo. And I'm going to delete all that layers. There you go. So all that layers that you saw was for me saving each individual details of Jones Krasinski, right? And this is important because I am creating a non-destructive process, right? It's dynamic enough for me to change, modify at any time. Like if a director comes to me like, hey, Jones Krasinski is going to get slapped 40 times in the face and his cheeks are going to get swollen. Okay, cool. So now I can create a new layer and basically inflate the cheeks and maybe some, cuts here and there because the skin open and source, and I can start doing that. But now with this information, right? And I want to show you how different it looks from the original. So I'm going to turn this on and actually move this by the side. Now, this is my first intent, and this is what I call a potato head, right? Making potatoes at first when you're making a face is essential for you to understand that you are now level potato, right? Now, when your brain get adjusted, right, it's really important for something that a lot of people do not like to do. Take a break, walk out, take a day off, talk to your friend, go to Call of Duty. Ugh, I don't play Call of Duty just in case. But yeah, take a step back, come back, and you will see that you have a face of a potato. Okay. With this said, it's really important to have then your references, right? So I'm going to turn this off. And basically what I do, I already have a base mesh of the face, right? So basically what I did, I took my time to scope another person's face or 3D scan of a person, and I start sculpting the face to get a average size of a head, structure, and it's really important to know your basic anatomy, right? Basic anatomy for us, when we're working for home, we have jaw, front of the head, our nose, cheeks, cheekbones, right? But if you go to the real terminology is like zygomatic bone, zygomatic arch, temporalis, mandible, and all that crazy names, right? So this is the kind of stuff that I saw for you is great, right? You understand the process you need to be doing. Me as a teacher is really important for know both sides. Understand the process of, hey, this is how you work in your personal area, and this is how you teach it, right? Having that both philosophy is really important. Most of the time, I don't have UIs in my office, and when I'm home, a lot of people, when I work as a freelancer, say, why you don't have shortcuts for your brushes? I say, because I am a teacher, bro, and I don't want to forget where things are. So this is, for me, it's really important. And obviously everybody have their own way of, teaching and basically their own UI. And the cool thing is in ZBrush, you can customize it 100% because the ZBrush UI sucks. Like the first time you come in, it's like, where am I? I don't know where am I. And basically it's happened with the first time for anybody going to the software the first time, right? For example, a lot of people that go to Blender watch the donut tutorial. Ugh, bro. But it is what it is, right? But now having this here, and this is the things that are really important, is that now I can utilize my references, right? So basically, I take these references here that I have front of the face, a little bit 3/4, right? That I can utilize this the best I can. With this process, I can, with the cool thing about Pure Ref, and you can keep it always on your side, right? You can see it and you can move around. You're not going to have no problem at all, right? Now you can see that I can go traditional in ZBrush, right? I can do one side and then go to the other side. But that is traditional sculpting. That is nothing wrong with that. But in this new era, we want symmetry, right? Symmetry helps you a lot because then the only thing you need to do is asymmetry. Breaks out the areas that are a little bit abnormal when you go building a character. Now, when you're building a character, you can see all the little flaws of a person. It's amazing. It's like, wow, I didn't know that this dude have a nose like that. Woo, incredible, right? And when I was working with John Krasinski, he have a really weird nose for me, right? And I see his nose, and I'm like, bro, what happened to you, right? Um, but this is the joy of me when you build a character. Like, look at this. Look at how long is that, right? But this is the aspect of when you work for yourself at your home. Just like, okay, but it works for the structure of his face, right? Now that's is essential because then you need to think about, okay, where are their masses? Like, um, I was gonna say grease masses, but fat. Where's your fat masses in the face that actually is balancing out the structure of the face, right? And you see the distance of the eyes are really important. When you go here, now you can see here. If I go, I know now that I need to um, utilize this. Let me go move over here. And use my move tool, right? And just oh, hello. Okay, cool. And this is a cool thing. When you are building stuff, you can start little by little moving the areas that you want. And you can see my computer is so old that it's taking a little bit of time to move some areas. But in the process, when you are building uh, faces or a character overall, doing it by pieces is necessary because the software allows when we build clothes, one of the biggest important thing is you can see now I have a little bit of um, most of the neck and a little bit of the shoulders, right? And this is gonna give me the structure to build the rest of the body. Now, if you see here, I have the feet separate, the hands separate, and other elements of it as well. So now if we go here, this is what I have, right? And then the rest is just the clothing, right? But I needed to build the body completely at first to be able to uh, put the clothing on top of it. And you can see here, this is the body, right? So now if I select the body and basically turn off everything out, this is my body, right? Like this is the body that I utilize to just put the clothing on top of it. The fingers are not necessary because I don't have no gloves that he used or anything, right? So the most important thing is the legs that are in good shape and the torso, right? And understanding your basic anatomy and understanding the structure of it in the silhouette that is really important. Like if we go here and we put this in the back, if this already is carrying out the good silhouette of a body, you're golden. Silhouette is really important. Like for example, who here knows Han Solo? Everybody, okay? Right. Imagine that Han Solo do not have a holster for his gun in his right side, right? And you put it all black, it stopped being Han Solo, right? Now, if you put two holsters, it's not Han Solo, right? But now, if you have that holster with his position that he does, everybody knows that it's Han Solo, right? So that's the kind of stuff that if from distance you can read the silhouette, is a win-win. Because as well, this is the kind of shot that you can utilize in any CGI or any type of long distance shot. And this is done, and like you guys can see this in any type of movie, like Avengers. They do this a lot, like a lot of smoke, and you see the shadow in the back, and like, who is that? It's me, Mario, right? So this is the kind of stuff that is really important when you're building characters, having that perspective of silhouette proportions that are really, really, really important. Um, so yeah, let me for this. Yes, cool. So let's go back here. It's a spec. And when you're building a process, I utilize a lot of different type of programs, right? I utilize ZBrush, that is basically to model, to scope the required areas that I need, right? Then I move into Marvelous Design, that is basically clothing, creating the patterns or garments that I need for it. So like, for example, if we go to this is what Marvelous Design is doing. It's basically the garment, the blueprints of it. When I finish this here, I have the opportunity to then bring this into ZBrush. So now when I bring all the particular characters back, all the elements that I need, turn this up, perfect. I didn't want to do that. Good. Okay, so let me turn this back on and actually turn this one off. Perfect. Nice. And as well, this one right here. Oh. And then go to the and then when you have that process, I normally go into and select the pants, right? And explore the details of the pants. Now, we wear pants every day, we wear shirts every day, but we never said like, oh, look at the details. You go like here. This is me. I basically go to the closet, put my shoes and pants in the bed. And I'm like, okay, you have a seam right here. Let's follow this. So basically the same thing goes for detailing. Right? You try to your best to find that detail of a jeans or shirts or things that is required. For example, I did not see that this particular, when you go back to my reference, and this one right here, you can see right here, little detail that goes around all around the knee to express that form of that particular jean per se. And you have the end of it folded. This was a pain. Okay, it's not like you can do it. It was like, if I do it in my jean, it's super easy, but in the software, it's not. You need to keep, folding it and like, why you stay together, right? A few hours of pain and suffering is done, and I said, I'm not gonna do anything anymore. So yeah, with this process as well, everything else that I built upon this as well, the internal shirts, they have that actually never made it to the final character. You have a white shirt under it. You can see it right here. And the way that I build it up, the character, you cannot see basically a little bit of the white shirt. You can see it in the back right there. But in the day, I said, I'm not gonna put 4 little squares for that shirt right there. I'm gonna take that off, and I took it off. I'm making the character. I choose what to put in and whatnot, right? And as well, details. Like for example, for this particular shirt, you can see that this part and this part is completely separate from it. Like I mentioned before, having that separate give you more details. Even the part that you can see here is completely separate from it. And then when I'm doing with topology, the bake give you the illusion that it's stick together, right? And basically, characters is just fake in a video game. Everything is fake. There's always the illusion of something, right? But the process is really real and painful. But this is the journey of a basically a character developer, a character designer that goes through the process of building a full character. This basically the first week of building is I collected all my information. Now, all of you are hopefully knowledgeable in what is pre-production, production, and what is final production, right? All this is really important, and basically it's applied to any process of building characters per se. But in my initial build-up of this character per se, the body that you guys saw wasn't from John Krasinski, was from a 3D scan that I sculpted, and then that's why you have other photos here with him basically buff, right? That I can try to match his body type to the sculpture that I'm building. Now, if you can see in what I've been mentioning, I'm always going back and forth with this information because it's key for delivering a really important process. Now, one of the biggest things that I always say as a character artist, and I'm going to go back to my face that I duplicated here, and I'm going to minimize this, is that in every process that you're building a character, um, you are going to be hours. For example, me, I stay 8 to 12 hours in a character, work it, and then basically take the next day off and continue like that. Or if I'm really excited for the project, I put the next day and the next day and the next day and take the weekend off. Simple like that. Now, balance is important, right? We have friends, we have family, we have partners. That means that we need to balance out all this work. Now, I'm here to talk about character, but characters is not made with a balanced mentality. If you are disturbed or any type of stuff, you're stressed, believe me, you are going to do not a good job. Okay? That's really important. But when you're feeling stressed, I always invite, and this for everybody that want to try this out, I always have fun with my characters, right? You know, I enjoy every process of it. And when I feel a little bit discouraged or everything, I just do my best to have fun, right? And this is a solitary job, right? There's nobody behind you. Come on, you got this. Woo! Right? And this is the little things that actually push you to see like, dude, this is the best job ever, right? But going to this process, now I can actually start taking okay, I destroyed completely. I said it right there. This is the kind of stuff that I can go little by little to the process of molding his head or molding overall face of him to match the references that I have. So there's a generational detail of information that you need to do. I normally break it down to first, second, and third generation of detail. Now, if you break that down to the first generation of detail, it's basically silhouettes. You're just looking for the general shape information that will help you get the elements that you need for the next generation. Now, the next generation is basically for me going to I add more subdivision. Oh, you already have subdivision history. Good. So it's basically going up a subdivision, and subdivision is basically checking the geometry. So now I have this geometry, it's really low. If I go to my second geometry, you cannot see the lines into it, but you can see there's another line created that is dividing that geometry that I have. So you can see this number on the top here. Every time, this is my base that is 6,000 polygons, right? When I subdivide it for 2, it's 27, and it goes to the hundreds. And then basically my maximum is 6 subdivision to 7 million polygons, right? So this is the great thing about ZBrush 2, that can hold a lot of geometry. My overall project is 74 million polygons. My overall project, right? Now I see projects that actually this computer is not that powerful. My computer at home is a little bit more beefier, so he can their computer can handle closely to maybe 800 million polygons, almost getting up there to the billion. So depending the processes, and ZBrush use RAM. So if you have a lot of RAM, it's going to run perfectly. But the maximum of RAM that ZBrush can run is 128. So this is the technical information that a lot of people are like, yeah, I want to do ZBrush. Whoa, with a Lenovo with no RAM. Absolutely, you cannot do that. Right? Your computer is going to be like, what is this, bro? Like, I didn't sign that for it. Open a document or something in Word. Okay, like do numbers, not this, right? So be careful and understand the limitation of your computer, because ZBrush is a heavy system if you start creating heavy stuff, right? Now, with this is going back to the generation of detail, I normally go to 2 and 3 to actually start modifying the face accordingly. Now, the different colors that you see here is for me to actually focus in the areas that I need to build the face on, right? So for example, let's see that I just want to focus on the eyes. Focus on the eyes. So there you go. So I just separated everything else. This is called polygroups. The polygroups are really powerful because now I can just focus on the details of the eye. Now, if I want to take this color off, I can, and then just go higher subdivisions, right? And you can see now I can just focus in the little details of the eye, right? So this is 100% essential for you to be able to control the areas that you want. Now, if you say, hey, I don't want to look at the eyes, right? They are not important. Now, this is super scary, right? But now I just can focus in the external area. Now, if I want to separate this area, right? Now we are in cyberpunk, right? And just we put a bunch of mechanical stuff there and that's it, right? But now if I go around, I just have this, right? And now I can work with the eyes and a little bit of the frontalis, or the front of the head, a little bit of the nasal, and be able to work with this and just focus on this. And this is essential as well. And this is really important when you are in the second generation of detail, because you are literally going to certain areas of the body, the face, to give the details that you need, okay? When you are giving the details, like for example, I can lower this brush here and like say, okay, this dude fought with the machete, right? And let's say that he just carved one side of the eye. So now I can take this here and start, okay, so he's gonna go here, and then like, perfect. Now see, I have symmetry on. So this is a mistake. So I go back, perfect. Let's go this and turn off symmetry. With this, now I can start one side, make it really nice, right? Now this is a basically sketching it out, right? It's no details, there's nothing information there that is gonna provide you any type of reality. So you take the brush and you start basically, and you start little by little adding the details that you need to make that feel real, right? You smooth some areas out, right? And this can become something like, whoa. And this is the thing you need to be really careful of, because you can be hyper asphyxiated with that little thing, right? And like sometimes when we're drawing a character, right? And we start drawing the face, and wow, we drew a body, and like the hands are like T-Rex. And then we decide, let's put it in their pockets. Like, yeah, like they look super cool. And like, yeah, I don't have hands or feet because I didn't decide to actually utilize the full page. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know how to draw feet. So let's cut their feet in half right there to the knees. So basically, this process goes the same way. When you're working with this, it's always important then to go back to the full face and see if it works, right? If you're just working in one area, like, okay, maybe I can work with this area a little bit more, add more details, maybe just saw the eye together, right? Maybe this dude just like saw the eye, right? Because maybe the story is he have a eye of a, I don't know, beholder, and that he can cancel magic when they look at people. I don't know, right? D&D crazy stuff. And yeah, this is the kind of stuff that I normally start thinking about when I'm working for characters. But if you saw my portfolio, one of the biggest things that I enjoy to do is cartoon characters, right? Basically for this particular one, this actually was a stream. This artist never posted this in their portfolio. If I recall, Dave Greco. Right now, he is a concept artist and character developer for Blizzard, for the WoW team. Tremendous human being. So for example, my process on this is basically just I build all the character, right? For the simple sketch that he did in one of the Twitch streams. And then basically I made this and render it in KeyChat, in ZBrush, and then put it in Photoshop. This is just for a beauty shot, right? You cannot use this for video games because this character only have like 27 million polygons, like overall. an engine will cry. Well, Unreal 5 will maybe take care of with nanites, but that is not the point. But as well, if you see my development through the characters, like for example, when I was a concept artist, I did this for um, a jam in Puerto Rico, and I did this character concept art, and I painted over and everything, and then basically I built it in 3D and painted it and sculptured it and did all the process. You can see all the little things that I did to be able to get to this point. Now I'm pretty happy with this character because it was one of my biggest first things that I did. I'm like, wow, this is so cool. Now I see it like, wow, you suck so much, but you're my baby. Um, but yeah, this process of me, this is my growth. This is the things that this was my last character that I did. And this is one of the things that like I leave this here to see my growth, right? And you can see here, I'm going to open this over here. This is what's the concept that I took from it. And the cool thing is you can tag the art and the artist here, and boom. You can see this is my low poly in the process that I did, and then basically I render it. Now, this is not my best work, but this is what's basically the pivot in my career as a character artist to become more what I used to be, right? And this is the thing, like I always been following big artists like Rafael Grassetti, that is a lead concept artist for Santa Monica Studio that did Kratos and Atreus and most of the characters there. And as well in Insomniacs, I follow a bunch of artists that are my inspiration, what I do right now. And most of this was the first character that I did at Hosco. This is a nice story from Puerto Rico. If you ever find that book, read it. It's amazing. Basically for this particular character, I did a bunch of sketches. This is my first time using Marvelous Design, and I just created this particular character. And I look at this like, wow, your anatomy sucks, right? And basically because I'm basing a human anatomy on a creature that is not a human, right? And this is the things that for me, the first time was really essential. And now this cannot be utilized for a game either, because it's just high poly. Uh, like this one is like maybe 35 to 36 million polygons. And as well, I'm a big fan of Batman, the best hero in the world. So basically, I did a concept from Dave Raposa, is a good concept artist and character designer as well. And I just based one of the character he did and just sculpted and rendered and maybe painted it a little bit in Photoshop as well. So my process as a character developer, you can see it in my station. It's been a growth of many years, right? I, as well as a developer, I'm pretty grateful for the people that I was in AB Boss Studio, and I'm still in AB Boss Studio. We hopefully end of this year, we're going to be releasing a game in Nintendo Switch called Reef Escape. As well, if you guys are interested, all our demos are for free in our website. You guys can play it, download it, and say, this game sucks. And we will ask you why it sucked. Please give it all our critiques and things that we can better this game. We have another game called Changi. It's it's a comic from Puerto Rico. You will see the reference really quick of which character that was rip off. But the comic artist that did it, he is a Disney artist as well. He is a storyboard artist and a character designer in Disney. So I think the ripoff is okay, right? With this said, I'm really grateful for you guys to hear a little bit of my story, a little bit of my development as a character designer, and see my portfolio as well. The way that I normally preach as a artist is basically you need to try everything. Like things that you never tried before, don't fear it. That is a great opportunity to try it out, right? I am 31 years old and I'm still learning a bunch of stuff, right? But this is the thing. When you following, no matter what, is art, technical, stuff, there's no problem of failing. Please fail. I fail many times. Like I mentioned before, you guys saw how horrific was the development of this character, um, John Krasinski, um, for when I started. I think there was one of them was really bad. Let me see if I can find it. This one was so horrible. I'm like, wow. This one. Be ready. Right? So this is the thing, and this is for me the most beautiful thing that you can do is save your progress. Right? Save that first thing that you did and like, wow, this is bad. This is horrible. But now I can compare this for my end progress and my final rendering and say like, wow, I grew. That's great. You chance to like go out and drink some coffee and open a window and say, yes, I'm with the news. Now on new level 1. Woo! So yeah, this is all. Hopefully you guys um enjoy this presentation and what I brought as well. My office is here in Magic as well. Every time you see the door open, mi casa, su casa, and we can talk anytime. Okay. Any questions? No, thank you. Yeah. So, any question you guys have, interested or anything? Yes.
What was the name of that program you had all your reference images in that goes
Ah,
on top of all the
yes. It's this is called Pure Ref. Pure Ref. I have a lot of people in the industry and that utilize this. And this is just drop images, like a lot of how do you call this? Um, this is basically to create a collage. You put collage images there, and it's really important because you can, like for modes, you can say always on top and the bottom, and you can transfer any type of information to. And this is really essential for just saving your references. And I think this was made by a programmer that is like you just donate the money that you want. Like you can do $1 or $1,000,000, whatever you want, right? And this has helped the industry so much that is like super cool. And a lot of people have inspiration of this same software now. I have my iPad and I draw a bunch of stuff in it, and they actually another developer created. It's called Pure Visualization or Pure Vis, and it does the same thing for iPad, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, Pure Ref. Yes. Yeah, so right now, and this is really cool, interesting question that you bring. Now, AI in this moment is being um, hopefully balanced out, and it brings a lot of negative things and bring a lot of positive things, right? As an artist, I see AI to hopefully create a tools to increase my potential as an artist, not to create the job that I am doing. Now, to answer your question though, for rendering, yes, now they are processes that are using AI to render faster and actually help your rendering process to be quicker. Now, is to point out mistakes, errors, lighting mistakes, and that kind of stuff, or denoise. There's a nice AI that denoise images and denoise the rendering process of a character, model, environment, etc. But yes, but as well, there's AI that actually create 3D stuff. That is harmful, and but as well is a good evolution of technology. Like there's nothing to be a lot of people are shaming it. Yes, it's understandable where they're taking the information out of it and putting it in. But the understanding of the evolution of that technology is just great. Now we just need to use it like a hero for good things, right? For great, for enhancing an artist to grow their potential as an artist, and not taking their tools and just like we don't need you anymore because we have AI, right? And that can be backfire. And I don't know if you guys up to that information, but like for example, EA was one of the first company that was going to try AI, and for dialogue. So they want an AI that create dialogue dynamically when people interact with other characters. Now that is bad because the information they was taking from was basically for GitHub for other games or other books that was saved or communications or type of stuff that is data from, like, for example, Discord or data from other chat that is wrong, right? That is the thing that a lot of people don't talk about. They're like, oh, that sounds great, but wait a minute, how are they getting this information, right? But yeah, there's a few things coming out, and I'm intrigued with AI. I don't use it because I never needed it, but as well, I understand, like, if I was the dude creating that AI, I'm like, wow, there's something new that's super great. It's amazing, right? But then what the people utilize it for was the bad thing, right? But yeah, any other questions? Yes.
Game performance with like
Yes. Game performance and the quality per se, this is the cool thing. Like, this final render that I did of my character here, actually move this out. The final render that I did for this character, this face is only 6,000 polygons. The same first level of detail that you guys saw, that's it. Now, where's the most detail is of this particular model is in the hair, right? Overall, this model is like maybe 75,000 polygon, and still is a lot less than 12 or 14 million polygons, right? For performance in video games, engines nowadays take a lot of they don't take a lot of resources for a character anymore. Like right now, a character that you're using can be now maybe 200,000 polygons, just the hero character. And it looks beautiful, right? Because you can put that amount of information in now with the systems that we have. And now computers and GPUs and CPU are powerful enough to increase that number high enough to create fidelity in the characters and worlds. But with that says, now our games weigh 100 gigabytes, 120 gigabytes for just that, for good looking quality, right? In games that have a lot of gameplay, normally that normal number lowers, and just you have the enjoyment of all the game modes that you have, and then vice versa. But yeah, basically it's lowering the flow. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Oh, yes, absolutely. No problem. I can answer that question super quick. So for example, right here, you can see this number. If I put the subdivision levels, that is actually to multiply the basic number of polygons that I have for the normal subdivision number one. Right now, this is 7 million polygons, just the face, with any other details. Right now, if I lower it to one, it's 6,000, almost 7,000 polygons, right? Now, this face with this amount of the polygon is this face right here. You see? So I am creating details, right, of this face. You can see all the pores and everything are there with only 6,000, almost 7,000 polygons, because it's the illusion of it. Because I did the texturing and the diffuse and normals is basically adding that fake detail that actually interact with the light of the world. The normals are the one that interact with that particular thing.
Like how does the character run? Like what levels?
Great question. So basically, when I have the full character of, like, for example, John Krasinski per se, and we can go to this image over here, right? If I have this a pose right now, this is an A pose, right? So basically, I will put bones where my joints are, and then when I join, I do weight painting. Now, weight painting is take that faces to basically weld it to the bone and to be able to move it. So now, if I put a bone to here to my wrist and just paint this area, weight paint this area, I'm gonna be able to move this, but my hand will stay in this location, right? Because then I need to know another bone for this and weight paint this area to be able to move it. So basically, that's just a technical process that just called the rigger. The rigger just do that, and then the animate take that rig and start doing the robot dance and all that cool stuff, right? So that is basically the process. And in the pipeline per se, we do concept art, 3D artist, rigger, animator, and then the programmer needs to actually put all that data of movement into a state machine. Every single bone, the finger bone, the toe bones, knee bones, every bone. Yeah. They already do it. Yeah.
The major differences like between all these like different 3D modeling softwares, like what separates like Zebra from programs like Blender or like Maya?
Absolutely. That is an amazing question. So the big separation from those is basically which one started the industry, right? So for example, Maya was the first one, right? Because Disney was doing the first movie of Toy Story. So they needed an animation system, and Maya was the first one that's like, hey, I'm here. You can use me. And then after this started with Maya. And that's why a lot of schools and a lot of animations use Maya. But I don't use Maya. I use 3ds Max. I'm separating from everybody else. But to answer your question more directly, is because they adopted the family of Autodevs that now they can utilize Maya, 3ds Max, CAD, etc. Right? The big difference is that when you go into the industry nowadays, they have basically a contract with Autodesk. Like, hey, if you stay with me, boo, I give you a 50% discount for 10 years. What do you think about that? So basically, they stay with that. But artists nowadays, they have not a freedom when they work. So they don't use any of their softwares. They actually use Blender. Concept artists use Blender because Eevee and cycles are so powerful now. They can model something super quick and get the perspective and lighting and rendering quickly to start painting an image super quick and basically matte painting on top of it. And that gives you the advantage of a fast process, and directors just love that. No problem. If there's no more, thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Much.
Amazing presentation.
Thank you.